Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India formulates plan over Indus Water Treaty abeyance. Jal Shakti Minister vows not a single drop of water will go to Pakistan. Stern action taken following Pahalgam terror attack. Houses of terrorists demolished in J&K. Third round of high-level nuclear talks between Iran and the United States began in Oman. President Draupadi Murmu, along with other world leaders, attends the state funeral of late Pope Francis in Vatican. India observes state mourning to mark Pope's funeral. World leaders, including India's President Draupadi Murmu, US President Donald Trump and French President Emmanuel Macron, joined over 200,000 mourners at St. Peter's Square to pay their last tributes to Pope Francis. President Draupadi Murmu, accompanied by Union Minister for Parliamentary Affairs Kiran Rijiju, attended Pope's funeral on behalf of India. Hundreds of thousands of Catholic faithful packed the site to bid farewell to the pontiff. Pope Francis died on 21st of April from the heart failure following a stroke at the age of 88. Earlier on Friday, President Draupadi Murmu paid homage to Pope Francis by laying a wreath at Basilica of St. Peter in Vatican City. Taking to social media platform X, Prime Minister Modi said that President paid homage to His Holiness Pope Francis on behalf of the people of India, adding that the world will always remember his service to society. Moving on, India's Home Minister Amit Shah on Friday held a meeting on how swiftly the decision to hold Indus Water Treaty in abeyance could be implemented and finalized a detailed roadmap. A day after India formally communicated to Pakistan that it was keeping Indus Water Treaty between the two countries in abeyance. The meeting was attended by Jal Shakti Minister C.R. Patil and senior officials. Meeting discussed implementation modalities in view of creating additional water storage infrastructure and speeding up work on hydropower projects as medium and long-term measures so that waters of the western rivers, Indus, Jhelum and Chenab, can be adequately used by India. Desilting of rivers and dams will be done on priority. It will augment supply of water to India's site, resulting in slightly lesser flow to Pakistan, which already faces a deficit of 32% in meeting its irrigation and drinking water needs.
ये जो हत्या हुई है, धर्म पुष्ट के हुई है, ये अत्यंत गंभीर प्रकार का एक काम हुआ है, निर्मम हत्या है, पूरा देश कभी नहीं भूलेगा। अभी उनके साथ कोई भी संधि आज तक हुई होगी और सभी संधि को रद्द कर देना चाहिए। ऐसा मुझे लगता है सरकार ने जो अभी जल संधि रद्द कर दी है, एक अच्छा डिसीजन लिया है।
India has launched a wide-reaching diplomatic campaign to inform other countries about the terror attack. Several foreign envoys called on External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar after the Pahalgam terror attack. Dr. Jaishankar met Israel's ambassador Reuven Azar and appreciated Israel's steadfast support in combating cross-border terrorism. He also met Argentinian ambassador and welcomed Argentina's strong condemnation of Pahalgam terror attack. Ambassador Kamel Zayed of Egypt also called on Dr. Jaishankar and discussed the deepening of strategic partnership between the two nations. The External Affairs Minister appreciated Egypt's support in the fight against terrorism. The External Affairs Minister also conveyed condolences to Nepal's Ambassador Shankar Sharma on the death of a Nepali national during the Pahalgam terror attack. 3 more houses of LET terrorists have been demolished in 3 districts of South Kashmir on Saturday who are suspected to have involved in Pahalgam attack. Official sources confirmed that a house belonging to terrorist Ehsan ul Haq Sheikh of Moran, Pulwama was demolished late on Friday night. Similarly, in Kulgam, the house of terrorist Zakir Ahmed Gania, who is active since 2023, was destroyed in Matalhama. In Shopian, house of another terrorist, Shahid Ahmed Kutte, was also destroyed in Chotipora. He is active since 2002. Earlier on Friday, houses of two terrorists, Asif Ahmed Sheikh Tral and Adil Toker, were demolished after their involvement in Pahalgam attack came to fore. Keeping the deadline of April 27 in mind, a large number of Pakistan nationals are reaching Atari border to complete their formalities. A lot of people are also turning up with their queries, which are being resolved by the authorities then and there. In total, 219 Pakistani nationals and 392 Indian nationals have crossed the Atari-Wagah border by Friday evening. India has revoked all existing visas issued to Pakistanis, except long-term visas, diplomatic and official visas, with effect from Sunday. All medical visas issued to Pakistani nationals will be valid only till the 29th of this month, and no new visas will be issued in the revoked categories. The UN Security Council has strongly condemned the deadly terrorist attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam, calling for accountability and international cooperation to bring perpetrators to justice. In a statement, Council members expressed their deepest sympathy and condolences to the families of victims as well as to the government of India and Nepal. Ambassadors reaffirmed that terrorism in all its forms and manifestations constitutes one of the most serious threats to international peace and security. They stressed that the perpetrators, organizers, financiers and sponsors must be held accountable and brought to justice. Indian community across the world condemned the April 22nd Pahalgam terror attack and paid tributes to victims of the barbaric attack. The Consulate General of India in Edinburgh held a solemn remembrance ceremony in memory of those killed in the Pahalgam terrorist attack. The members of the Indian community in Scotland gathered in solidarity with India and against the scourge of terrorism. The Indian diaspora members also observed a moment of silence, prayed and paid tributes to the innocent lives lost in the Pahalgam terrorist attack. In Germany, Embassy of India in Berlin also organized an event on Friday in memory of the loss of innocent lives in Pahalgam terror attack. Indian Ambassador to Germany, Ajit Gupte, addressed the gathering and offered heartfelt tributes to the victims. Representatives from German Foreign Office, Federal Ministry of Labour and Social Affairs, Defence Ministry, members of diplomatic corps, including defence attaches, Indian diaspora and friends of India paid homage to victims and expressing solidarity with India. A candlelight vigil was held in Auckland to honour the lives lost and those affected by the recent terror attack in Kashmir.
Even oceans away, in this moment of collective grief, people far away from their homeland in Auckland led this peaceful candle vigil, praying for the departed souls and proving that distances will never dim our solidarity.
Bharat Mata Ki Jai! Thank you, Rahul, for organizing this evening. It is very important we come out and support. As it has been mentioned that we all stand in solidarity with India. What has happened in Pahalgam is unacceptable, and we want an answer to be taken from those who are responsible of this incident. And we believe that Indian government will take appropriate action against those who are responsible for this. With these words, once again from New Zealand, the message which I would like to convey is that we are with India. We are.
In Australia, Indian diaspora held a march to protest against the Pahalgam terrorist attack. In Copenhagen, the Indian diaspora members also paid tributes to the innocent lives lost in the Pahalgam terrorist attack. Meanwhile, Pakistani army troops violated ceasefire again along the line of control in Kashmir for the second consecutive day today. According to the Indian Army, on the intervening night of April 25 and 26, unprovoked small firing was carried out by multiple Pakistan Army posts all across the Yellow Sea. The Indian Army retaliated appropriately to firing with small arms. There were no reports of any casualties so far. India's Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal on Friday assured a smooth Amarnath Yatra, which is set to commence on July 3rd this year despite the Pahalgam terror attack. Minister Goyal expressed confidence that tourism in Kashmir will resume soon, emphasizing that no one can derail Kashmir from its developmental path, highlighting the region's progress and potential. Registrations for this year's Sri Amarnath Yatra began in Jammu and Kashmir on April 15. The Amarnath Yatra is set to commence on July 3rd this year. Simultaneously, from both routes, the Pahalgam track in Anantnag district and Baltal in Ganderbal district. It will culminate on August 9 on the occasion of Raksha Bandhan. Goyal stated that India has no interest in having trade relations with Pakistan, labeling it a terrorist nation. He said nothing can halt the progress that Kashmir is set to achieve.
मुझे लगता है कि भारत के लोगों में इतना सामर्थ्य है, इतनी हिम्मत है, इतना आत्मविश्वास है कि जल्द ही फिर एक बार पर्यटन वहां शुरू होगा, उद्योग वहां जाएगा, अमरनाथ की यात्रा होगी और कश्मीर जो विकास के मार्ग पे चल पड़ा है उसको कोई रोक नहीं सकता.
In the state of Gujarat, police have detained over 500 illegal nationals from Ahmedabad and Surat for allegedly residing in India using forged documents. The sweeping operation, which took place in the early hours of Saturday, was led by multiple enforcement units and local police teams. Officials confirmed that all detainees lacked valid documentation and had used falsified papers to settle in India. In Surat, a coordinated overnight combing operation led to the detention of more than 100 illegal Bangladeshi nationals. Meanwhile, a parallel operation was launched in Ahmedabad around 3 a.m., where over 450 individuals were detained. In a major push for India's journey towards becoming a developed nation by 2047, Prime Minister Narendra Modi distributed over 51,000 appointment letters across key ministries, marking a significant step in youth empowerment, employment generation and inclusive growth under Rozgar Mela via video conferencing. Prime Minister Modi said that inclusivity of the Indian youth is a key factor in their development in the country, highlighting the responsibility of the youth in strengthening the country's economic system and internal security, building modern infrastructure and improving the lives of laborers.
आपके कार्य का मकसद केवल पद प्राप्त करना नहीं है. आपका पद भारत के हर नागरिक की सेवा करने और देश की प्रगति में अपना योगदान देने के लिए है. अभी कुछ दिन पहले सिविल सर्विसेज डे पर मैंने एक मंत्र दिया था और मैंने कहा था कि हम सरकार में जितने भी लोग हैं, हमारे लिए तो एक ही मंत्र सर्वोपरि होना चाहिए और वो मंत्र है नागरिक देवो भव. नागरिक देवो भव. नागरिक की सेवा ही आपके लिए, हम सब के लिए देव पूजा के समान है.
Union Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav and Minister of State Dr. Jitendra Singh also distributed appointment letter to the newly recruited youths in New Delhi under Rozgar Mela. Lauding PM Modi's leadership, Ashwini Vaishnav said that the newly recruited youths need to work towards the development of the country.
मोदी जी ने 2014 में आने के बाद में पहले देश को एक गंभीर आर्थिक संकट से बाहर निकाला. समाज के कई क्षेत्रों में जो कमजोरियां थी उनको मजबूत किया, कई तरह के रिफॉर्म्स किए. सरकार का जो समाज के प्रति दायित्व है उसमें एक बहुत बड़ा परिवर्तन है.
India's Coal and Mines Minister G. Kishan Reddy attended the 6th International Exhibition and Conference India Steel 2025 on Saturday. During his address, the minister said that over the last few years, India's steel sector has shown tremendous growth, and as a result, India has evolved as the world's largest steel producer.
Over the last few years, our steel sector has shown tremendous growth. As a result, India has evolved as the world's second largest steel producer. As the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji said, it is India's sunrise sector. The rapid growth of the steel sector must be viewed both as a cause and consequences of the expansion of domestic industries, the reason consumption, and most importantly, the strength of Atmanirbhar Bharat.
And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Russia and Ukraine are very close to reaching a deal to end conflict, says US President Trump. Congo and Rwanda agree to draft a peace agreement by May 2nd. In sports, Kolkata Knight Riders are all set to face Punjab Kings at the iconic Eden Gardens in Kolkata.
You already dance to Bollywood music at weddings. Now imagine the whole world dancing to our stories too. World Audiovisual and Entertainment Summit Waves is where we make Indian entertainment truly international. तो जल्दी तैयार हो जाइए दुनिया को अपनी धुन पर नचाने के लिए. बस 7 दिन और.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Fresh efforts are underway to revive nuclear diplomacy between the United States and Iran as top negotiators began the third round of talks on Saturday in Muscat. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and US Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff are engaging in indirect negotiations through Omani mediators. Talks are aimed at drafting a framework for a possible deal to limit Tehran's nuclear activities. Tehran is willing to negotiate some curbs on its nuclear work in return for the lifting of sanctions. However, ending or surrendering its enriched uranium stockpile are among Iran's non-negotiables. The upcoming talks follow recent progress in Rome, with both sides describing the second round of discussions as constructive. In an update on Russia-Ukraine conflict, US President Donald Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff met Russian President Vladimir Putin for 3 hours in Moscow on Friday to discuss the US plan to end the conflict in Ukraine. Trump said the two sides were very close to a deal despite apparent differences in their positions. In a social media post, Trump stated that it was a good day of talks and called for a high-level meeting between Kiev and Moscow to close a deal. He also mentioned that most key points have been agreed upon and urged an immediate end to the bloodshed. The Israeli army on Saturday said that a missile was launched from Yemen into Israeli territory, adding that aerial defense systems were working to intercept it. In a statement, Israeli army said sirens surrounded in a number of areas in Israel following the launch. Meanwhile, there was no immediate comment from Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthis. At least 11 people were killed after a drone strike by rapid support forces hit a displacement camp in Sudan's River Nile state. The RSF, which denies carrying out drone attacks, has targeted power stations and army-controlled locations in central and northern Sudan for the past several months, but the strikes had not previously left major death tolls. The escalation of such strikes, which have hampered the country's electrical grid and plunged millions into weeks-long blackouts, comes 2 years into a damaging war as the army has been pushing the paramilitary force out of central Sudan. Ground fighting in the conflict is now focused on the Darfur region, where the RSF is fighting to seize the army's remaining foothold, driving hundreds of thousands from their homes. There has also been fighting in western Omdurman, part of capital, where the RSF remains present. As part of diplomatic efforts to end violence in eastern Congo, an agreement was signed between Congo and Rwanda in Washington on Friday. As per the agreement, both countries vowed to come up with a draft peace deal by May 2nd and refrain from providing military support to armed groups. The agreement was signed at a ceremony with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who also signed as a witness. The agreement is expected to bring significant U.S. public and private investment to the region, which is rich in minerals, including tantalum and gold, the final text said.
Eastern part of the Democratic Republic has seen 30 years of conflict. Durable peace and long-lasting economic development is not going to be easy, but it is important. And having both of my counterparts here, the foreign ministers of these respective countries, demonstrates the beginning of a strong commitment to having the conversations that we need to have in order to reach a resolution.
Agreement as soon as possible. But there are no shortcuts or quick fixes, and we have to do the hard work to get it done right once and for all. Rwanda is committed, and we are ready to continue working together with all the partners involved to ensure the success of this initiative. I thank you all.
Today marks not an end but a beginning, a necessary step towards peace taken with resolve and purpose. This moment carries particular weight for the Democratic Republic of the Congo. In Goma, in Bukavu, and beyond, the reality of displacement, insecurity, and hardship continues. For us, the urgency of this initiative is not theoretical, it is human.
The deal raises hopes that the latest cycle of violence in a decades-long conflict might ease, with both countries hoping to attract significant U.S. investments in minerals. Both parties also agreed to look into a joint security coordination mechanism to crack down on armed groups and criminal organizations. And let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Dressed in 1920s attire, employees of Santiago's cable car welcome passengers to celebrate the centenary of one of Latin America's hottest tourist attractions. Over the past 100 years, the two-car funicular has transported millions of people to the top of San Cristobal Hill in the heart of the Chilean capital. Michelle Pfeiffer immortalized her hand and footprints at the iconic Chinese theater in Los Angeles, a prestigious honor for Hollywood's elite. She expressed gratitude and joy, highlighting the fulfillment of pursuing her passion. A Peruvian theatre troupe featuring actors with Down syndrome performed Shakespeare's Hamlet at London's Barbican Centre, showcasing their talents and challenging societal barriers and prejudices. One of the actors emphasized their achievement, saying that they prove they can overcome limitations and succeed. In sports, Kolkata Knight Riders are all set to take on Punjab Kings at the iconic Eden Gardens in Kolkata on Saturday, with both teams eager to bounce back from recent setbacks. This encounter promises to be a crucial one in the race to the playoffs. This will be the second meeting between the two sides this season. Punjab defeated Kolkata in their first meeting, defending the lowest ever total of 111 runs in IPL history. KKR have just 3 wins from 8 games and are on a 2-match losing streak. A win at home is vital to keep their playoff hopes alive. PBKS, on the other hand, are placed 5th with 5 wins out of 8 games so far. In updates from the ongoing Madrid Open tournament, world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka kicked off her quest for a third Madrid Open title with a 6-3, 6-4 victory over Anna Blinkova in the second round action at Madrid Open. Third seed Jessica Pegula eased into the third round of Madrid Open with 6-2, 6-2 victory over Eva. She'll now face Japan's Moyuka in the third round. It will be the first time the two players face each other. Meanwhile, in men's singles, American number 12 seed Ben Shelton rallied past Argentina's Mariano 4-6, 7-6, 6-3 to advance to the third round of the Madrid Open. Top seed Alexander Zverev and number 3 seed Taylor Fritz booked their tickets to the third round of the Madrid Open with straight sets wins over Spain's Roberto Bautista Agut and Australia's Christopher O'Connell, respectively. All the players will be in action at the next round on Sunday. That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Prasar Bharati from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.